Do you know what the difference is between a consultant and a business coach? How does each of those components serve you as the CEO of your organization? Well, let me break it down simply for you. Best way to describe a consultant is that they would actually give you a bike and ride the bike for you, whereas a business coach would help you get on the bike and walk alongside you as you pedal the bike. So with those two scenarios, it helps you differentiate both of these professions because there is a time and a place for both of these professions in your business. It just depends on whether or not it is the right season and whether or not it fits the scope that you're looking for. And I've been getting this a lot lately. And so I thought that this would be the perfect episode to be able to share a little bit about what I do, what is LoopLink, and what is really an operations coachsultant. So this video is going to showcase a day in the life of an operations coachsultant. So make sure you grab your cup of coffee and join me, and we are just going to be having a conversation today. Welcome back to my channel. If you are brand new here, I'm Theresa, operations coachsultant behind LoopLink, and I'm here to help you close the loop in your business operations and help you expand your agency with excellence. And I do that by helping you shift from a CEO dependent to a systems dependent operations by leveraging your technology, techniques, and team. So this is the perfect place for creative CEOs, consultants, and contractors. So I'm really excited to be able to share with you what a day in the life of an operations coachsultant looks like. Going back to the question that I had asked earlier is, do you know what the difference is between a business coach and a consultant? All in all, the most simplest terms comes to this is a consultant gives advice, whereas a coach gives mentorship. And not only that, a coach may not necessarily give you business advice. They help you find your answers because you're going to be able to find that answer from within yourself. So let me share with you a little bit about how Coachsultant actually came to be and why that is my hybrid approach. So early on in my days, when I first started LoopLink back in 2016, I actually started off as a business coach, but my focus was super niched, and that is the area where I really thrive the best in, whereas systems and operations. And so early on in my days, I was helping CEOs pull the knowledge from their most secured location, which is their minds, and be able to synthesize it into standard operating procedures where they can then train their team on and be able to delegate so that they can scale their business beyond themselves. Now, one of the aspects that I found as I was going through that was because I was so familiar with a lot of the tools, a lot of the techniques and systems out there, that one of the key elements as I was going through business coaching training is that you never want to give advice. And a lot of it is more about questioning or asking questions and helping the business owners be able to find that answer themselves. One of the biggest gaps that I saw arising when I was coaching was the lack of resources. And when I mention resource, it's not about the available tips and documentation for them, but it's their ability to implement and execute on that. And so I started looking at how I can help show up in their business and be able to be that strategic partner for them. That's when I started putting back on my business consultant hat, and I was like, you know what? I need to be able to give advice. I need to be able to say, hey, that tool is going to really harm your business systems, or that, hey, that tool is going to not generate that ROI that you're looking for. All of a sudden, I was like, okay, I need a hybrid approach. That's when the blending of the two professions came about, and Coachsultant was suddenly born. After being able to combine those two professions and creating my hybrid approach, I was able to really fast track a lot of my my clients' success by assisting them to be able to work alongside them and providing that additional resource for them, because now I'm able to help build out those systems on their behalf, but also be able to have them co-create together. And so it was really beautiful transformation all in all, because ultimately at the end of the day, that was what we were aiming for. We didn't need a quick fix. We didn't need a fast solution to be implemented into the operations, because we knew that we were in there for the long-term game. Anything that we were developing during this process became that standard norm. I was speaking with a past client just this week, and it was so refreshing to hear that all of the techniques and the tools and the resources that she walked away from our time together, she's still leveraging it to this day. And not only that, it's continued to keep streamlining her processes, and she's built up so much confidence as a CEO of her business. Those were just some of the small things that I honestly have the best time celebrating with my present and past clients. So now that you know what is the difference between a business consultant and business coaching, I wanted to kind of just wrap this up a little bit on understanding where each of these professions will really help you scale your business. So by being an operations coachsultant, I'm able to serve you as a business coach by helping you grow as a business owner or as the CEO of your organization by providing you accountability, account planning, action planning, boost your clarity and confidence, really helping you define and dig in your core values. We're going to be able to align your core vision, and most of all, we're going to help you be able to prioritize and focus your energy to what is going to be essential in your business. And above all, we're going to work on having you become the best manager of yourself. Now, as a business consultant, I'm going to be able to help your business scale and grow through business planning and strategy, service productization, team growth and delegation, lead generation, online marketing, business processes and systems, project planning, and workflow development. Those are just some of the key elements that I can work with you on no matter which hat I'm wearing. All right, so now that we've covered what is an operations coachsultant, let's dive into what a day in the life of an operations coachsultant looks like. I'm going to give you my typical Monday and Tuesday because I think that's going to really capture the true reality of what it is that I do and how I serve my clients. So on Mondays and Tuesday mornings, I dedicate those times to hosting client calls, and they are weekly check-in calls. I consider them as stand-up meetings because we want it to be very concentrated and focused, and so I often just only schedule them for 30 minutes. If I schedule them for an hour, what ends up happening is that we get so much into talking that time passes so quickly, and so I want to be able to set the week right with making sure that we are hitting a lot of the key elements that we want to tackle for the week. So on Monday mornings from 8:30 to 10-ish, that's when I host my client calls, and then afterwards I then check in with my team. This is the time where we're able to connect and talk about and have a week in review from the last week. What worked, what didn't work, what we're going to try and do differently this week. Not only that, I'll be able to also relay and articulate what is going to be our key focus for this upcoming week with some of our client work, particularly if it is through the operations management service, where LoopLink comes in as their extended team, and we would be able to make sure that we are executing well, on time, on budget, and with quality in their services. And one of the ways we do that is by being able to help them through their client work to their end users, or to be able to support them through their online program or services. So after the calls have taken place, then we go into a really laser focused time blocking for client execution. So this is when I touch base with my operations manager or project manager, and what we do is we sit down and start articulating what is going to be the project plan for either the upcoming week or for the next major objective for the business, whether it is another launch or it's an internal systematization of a business area. And so that usually takes me from 10:30 to 12, and then I break for lunch because on Mondays I still have my son, and so I have lunch with my son, and then he goes down for a nap at 1 o'clock. Now the magic happens after 1 o'clock because that's when I have no distractions and I'm able to really focus in on what it is that I'm going to be doing. The secret to really accomplishing a lot in the 2 hours that he's asleep sleep is by preparing for what needs to take place. So before I break for lunch, I actually make sure that I have specific tasks that has been outlined and assigned to me in same page. And once I sit down at 1 o'clock, I am just pedal to the metal and making sure that any communications or items that requires my assistance or my strategic outlook on, I am executing and focusing on that. And then also as well, during that period of time, that's when I'm going to make sure that my team is fully equipped with the right knowledge, the right tools, techniques, and resources to be able to perform their work well. And then work actually stops for me about 2:50, 2:55 because that's when I have to go pick up my daughter. And then after I pick up my daughter, I come back and I have about 45 minutes left to go before I wrap up my day basically. So in those 45 minutes, I actually condense my CEO time in there by being able to focus on my own business, working on my business instead of in my business. So that's when I am making videos like this, or I am scripting for my next video, or I'm reviewing blog posts, I am reviewing proposals or writing proposals, things that's going to be working on my business and helping my business grow. If I am part of a mastermind, that's going to be the time that I actually put in the work for those elements. This is the targeted time where it requires Theresa's time only. And then after that, that's when I wrap up my day and make sure that I've updated any tasks that has been assigned to me. If I wasn't able to get to it, they will be reprioritized for the next day. And then I'm going to make sure that everything is aligned to the schedule still. So that wraps up my day. And unfortunately, my work doesn't end there as a mom because that's when dinner gets started. Then we have dinner with the family. Because my children have additional activities, I am then chauffeuring them to karate or swimming. So whatever is the case, like there's so much more that goes on afterwards. So my day truly doesn't end until about 7:30 or 8. And by that time, it's kind of like, whew, what am I going to be able to do to kind of wind down? So that's when I kind of wrap up with a little bit of some guilty pleasure, either a book that I can cuddle up with, or my mental getaway is actually reading anime, mangas, or watching Asian dramas because, hey, it kind of takes away from having to keep thinking all the time because I am by nature, I love to work. I love to constantly be on the go. My mind will think in codes as well if I don't keep busy in some of those key elements. So that's what I do to kind of wind down my day and really be able to prepare for the next day. All right, so all in all, I hope I've given you a great snapshot of what a day in the life looks like for an operations coachsultant. And now that you know the difference between a business coach and a business consultant, have you worked with either or both? If you have worked with both, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below. What has been your experience with that? Please definitely do share. If you have any other questions, I'd love for you to add it in the comment section below. Don't forget to grab the SOP bundle because I know that's going to really help you begin your systematization journey in your business. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Theresa Beretta, Operations Coachsultant, and I'll see you in the next one.